Good evening, everybody, and welcome. Today is Sunday, November the 5th, 2023. Welcome to Simply Cards by Kathy. I'm Kathy Anders, and I don't typically come on Sunday evenings. But if you follow me or you've seen me this week, I focus this week on one stamp set, which is something I don't typically do. I usually go and do different stamp sets throughout the week. But this week I focused on the Wishes All Around bundle. And my goal was to show you 3 easy cards, being able to use each of the dies and the stamps and show you what you can do with them to give you an idea. So today is the third card. And I have lots of tips and tricks to show you with this, and I'm anxious to get started. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I'm so happy you found me, and I hope you'll come back. And if you are watching me live or on the replay, thank you so much for joining me and helping me grow my channel. So let me flip this camera down, and we're going to get started. Okay. I want to show you, just if you haven't seen them, the cards that we did earlier in the week. This was one of the cards using the greenery die. And then this was another card using the stamps of the evergreens with the matching die cut. So now we're going to move and use the snowflakes. And I think it's a fun card. It's an easy card. And I'm going to show you some tips for that. So again, this is the Wishes All Around bundle. I am using the greetings from here. I'm using these two. And we're going to use some snowflakes. So let's move this off and get started. I stayed with the colors I've worked with throughout the week, again, trying to show you different things you can do without having a ton of supplies and being able to stay kind of within the color scheme. So I'm using Pretty Peacock. It's 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. Now, don't worry about measurements. I am going to have a downloadable PDF. It'll be up by tomorrow morning for you. And you will find the link to that corresponding blog post where you can download that right down below in the description for my YouTube description. So we're going to burnish this. Now this is our card base. I'm going to set it off to the side for a minute. And we are going to stay with what we've done all week long. I've used the Christmas Tidings embossing folder. Hopefully you can see that. It's a really beautiful embossing folder. And we're going to use this as a layer. But I want to be able to put a circle, kind of cut a window out from this layer. So to do that, I'm using the second largest circle from the Stylish Shapes dies. And we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to use a piece of tape. I'm eyeballing this. I'm not really going to measure it. You are welcome to. And we're just going to go ahead and we are going to die cut this. So I'm going to bring in my cut and emboss machine, and I'll be bringing it in a couple times tonight. I'm using plate number 1 and 2 of the number 3 plates. So let me grab that. And I'm just going to put this in here and run it through. And then I'll show you what we're going to do with it. Okay, let's bring this back down here. Now I embossed this first to try to save a little bit of time. You can cut it out and then run it through your embossing folder, and it will keep the embossed a little bit. It won't flatten it out at all. So this is going to go here. And what I want to adhere to this though is, or in the circle, is a piece of designer series paper. Now, all week long, I have been using the Winter Meadow Designer Series paper. And today I've chosen a piece. I love coming up with ways to use these pieces that have a white space in them. So what I did with this is I wanted to be able to cut out a circle of the deer and have that deer as my focal point within the snowflake. So what I did is I cut it in half. So this is a piece, this is 12 by 12. So I have a 6 by 12 inch piece. And then I cut it into 4-inch segments so that you end up with 6 of these. So this is the piece we're going to work with. Hi, Mary. Thank you for joining me. So I want my deer. So remember I said I was going to use the second largest of the circle. So all I'm going to do is place it so that I get my focal point. And then I'm going to go ahead and take my little piece of tape that I just got done using, and I'm going to hold it in place. And we're going to run it through our cut and emboss machine again. So lots to show you tonight. So let's cut this out. And then we're going to adhere this inside that. Oh, look at that. It flew right out. Let's bring that back. That's a first. Okay, with this, I'm using plate number 1, number 2, and both number 3 plates. All right. So here we are, and we now have our little deer as our focal point. So let's move this off, and we're ready to adhere him to the front of our card. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to adhere this, and this is going to fit right inside there. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to use multi-purpose glue. You can use your tape runner or stamp and seal or whatever works best for you. A little bit of glue there. I hope you had a good weekend this weekend. I hope you were able to do some fun things and enjoy family or friends. I was at my grandson's hockey scrimmage this afternoon. He is a senior, and it's the last year I'm going to get to see him play. So I will be at almost all of his games if I can do that this year and see him play. All right, so there's our frame. And now we're going to fit this right within there. And it's because it's the same size, we're just going to put it in. Now, you could pop it up if you wanted to. I chose not to. And you'll see why in just a few minutes. All right. So he fits right in there. All right. So we're going to set this off to the side. Hi, Maria. Thank you for joining me. Now, what I wanted to do with this is to make my snowflake the frame, to frame in that deer. So I'm going to show you what I did and what I found out to be the easiest. And believe me, I have worked with this a lot to try to make it easy for myself and for you. So I am using the snowflake die. So what I did is I cut a piece of basic white that's 3 3/8, and this runs the length of 11 inches. Now you can take glue, and I think you may have seen me in the past use glue to layer. But today I wanted to show you how to use the adhesive sheets. The adhesive sheets come from Stampin' Up, and you get 12 of them, and I believe they measure 6 by 12 inches. They are. So I have a piece here, and if I turn it over, I'm hoping you can see where it's perforated. There's 3 lines. I want to cut a 3 3/8 inch piece, and I'm going to adhere it right to my basic white paper. So we're going to bring in our trimmer, and you're going to see why I chose to cut it this way. So let's go 3 3/8. And that's good. And let's move this off. And then you have the rest of this to use for another time. So I want to adhere this. So I'm going to just take it a layer at a time. And I'm going to go ahead and adhere it to the back. And you're just going to peel your layers off. And you could peel them all at once if you wanted to, but sometimes I find it gets wrinkly, and this allows me to lay it down a little bit flatter. So this is going to be your adhesive to put your wreaths together. Now, the reason I chose to do this is because with a die like this, and if you can see all the little intricate cuts, you really don't have anywhere to use dimensionals on this, that they're not going to show through from behind. So what I do is I cut 3 or 4 of these and I layer them together. So I want to, did I do that here? Let's do this now. We're going to cut one of these, and I'm going to show you. Now, you're adding some thickness to that paper by adding the adhesive. So one of the things I have found out that works best is if I run this through, and I'm going to turn it around, run this through 2 times. Sometimes I run it through even 3. Now, important to remember, you want to make sure your adhesive is down when you cut this, because otherwise, if it isn't, your adhesive is going to be on the top of your die cut. So let's go ahead and we're going to run this through, and then I want to show you a trick for taking the backing off. So let's do that. And I'm going to run it back through a couple times. And one more. I do 2 completes back and forth. Now I find when I run it through more than once with intricate dies, the small pieces come out much easier. So you can see this came off. And let's take, I'm going to use my pick tool here, and I'm just going to poke this out, and it's going to pop out here. And then you just gently work it around. Now you do have the center to cut another die shape if you want to. And you can easily sit and poke these all out if you wanted to. But I want to show you a trick with this. Oftentimes, not always, but oftentimes if you peel off the back, it will bring those small die cut pieces off at the same time, and you don't have to pick and push all those out. You may just have to do some of them. So look at that. And we've got them out. And then when I bring out my I have just 3 or 4 little pieces that I have to poke out. And I'm going to go ahead and do that because we're going to use this. So beautiful die, easy to use. Now I've gone ahead and I already layered 3 of these. So I'm going to layer this onto these 3. So let me grab my silicone mat. And I'm just going to start in one spot, adhere it down, and while I'm holding it up, I'm gently just going to keep working my way around so that they are one on top of the other, and you're going to get this really beautifully layered wreath. Okay. And it's so easy to do. Now, you can see I have one little spot here that I'll poke out, and the rest of it, there's my wreath. But I want to add some color to this wreath because if I put the white on the background, while it's very pretty, I want it to show up a little more. So what I chose to do, and I already cut it out and it's ready to go, is I used the soft shimmer paper from the annual catalog, and I believe it's on page 127. I cut a 3 3/8 inch square. Let me bring that in for you and show you. And I did the same thing with the die, and we're going to go ahead and adhere this now to our wreath. And we will have a shimmery snowflakes. So I'm just going to peel off my backing. And with the shimmer paper, I found that not all of the little pieces came out as easily, and that when I did go back, I had to poke a few of them out, which is okay. And I'm just going to do it over my little mat or sponge here. And they're very easy to poke out. They just, for some reason, seem to stay adhered a little easier to the wreath. So there we are. So now we're going to add this to our snowflake wreath. And again, just lining it up and working my way around to adhere it. And it's so easy to do. It just works all the way around. Okay, so here's our wreath, kind of shimmery. Now we're ready to adhere it to the front of our card. And remember, I did put adhesive on the back of this. So this is going to be a very easy way for us to adhere this to the card. So we're just going to peel it back. Pull this off, and now we can place it where we want it on our, in the center, and I kind of want it right about there. I'm going to line it up so that the points are at 6 and 12 o'clock and give it a good press. So here's the front of our card. Now for the greeting, I chose to do a little square, and I'm going to stamp it, and let's see what we can do with this. Here, I am going to use Pretty Peacock, and the greeting that I'm using just totally disappeared. Where'd it go? Well, let's grab another one because for some reason it's gone. So I'm going to grab a greeting from, I'm going to grab a greeting from Brightest Glow, since I'm not sure where my stamp went here. And it's right in front of me, everybody. You can tell it's Sunday night. We're going to use Make It Merry. And this is from the Wishes All Around bundle. It was right in front of me. Just going to give it a good stamp. And let's pop this up. I thought I'd just pop it up right here. And I am going to use dimensionals. Now remember, if you're popping it up and it's going to rest within your wreath or something you've already have raised, you don't want to put a dimensional there. So I'm only going to do it on the 3 corners and in the center. So let's get that done. And then we're going to do our inside. Okay, and let's put one in the middle. I'm glad you liked that tip, Maria, about the adhesive sheets pulling off your die cuts. Now I'm going to put this right in the corner. And this is just sitting on here. Now you can take a glue dot if you want to. And just go ahead. I'm going to pick it up with my pick tool. And I'm just going to adhere it in the corner there underneath to hold that down. So Make It Merry. Now for the inside, I have just a piece of basic white. And I am going to use the greeting, may the love of friends and family surround you this Christmas. And again, I'm going to use my pretty peacock. And I just want to check this and make sure it's straight. And it looks pretty good. So let's go ahead and stamp this. Now, remember when I showed you I cut the wreath out of here? Well, you had this center from the wreath. And what I did is take the 2 little snowflake dies that are in the set, and I cut out 2 snowflakes for the inside. Now the snowflakes have the adhesive backing on them because this whole piece did. So now we're able to add these to the inside. I'm just going to go ahead and pull the backing off. I love using the adhesive sheets for intricate dies. It just makes it so easy, and it also gives your paper just a little bit more stability because of the backing that it provides. Okay, so here's this one, and let's add this right here. All right. So we're going to add this in, and then we're going to add a couple embellishments to the front, and then I'll show you a second card. So here we go. I have had so much fun with this set, and it's such an easy set to use. Now, if you don't have the shimmer paper, you could just use your Lost Lagoon cardstock. So for the embellishments, we have a couple options. One would be to use iridescent rhinestones, and the other would be to use the pretty peacock. These are the tinsel gems, the 4-pack. So I'm not sure which one I'm going to like. So let's try. The one I'm going to show you actually is using the iridescent rhinestones. So let's try this and see what you think. And I'll let you pick which one you like best. Let's put one here in the poinsettia. And let's put another one maybe right here. Okay, let's bring this back to you. So here's the card. And hopefully you can see that shimmer from the soft shimmer paper. Isn't that pretty? And here's the exact same card, but I used a different greeting. I used Happy Holidays, and that's from the Brightest Glow stamp set that carried over from last year. And here I used the rhinestones in as your embellishment. So let me bring you back to me. I hope you enjoyed today's card. I really enjoyed doing it for you. I've had so much fun with this set, and I've never really done where I focused on one stamp set for the week. So I'd be love to hear your feedback on whether you like a different stamp set every day or you like seeing more examples of how to use that over the course of a week. I hope you have a wonderful night. Get some rest. I'll be back with you Tuesday morning at 11 a.m. See you soon, everybody. Thanks for joining me.